Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. 38th favorite dad in the family community, Papa West, Jacob West, here for another exciting episode of TMG Takes the Field, our weekly show where we talk about sport, mainly college football and the NFL, because the NFL is my master category that I know most everything about. In fact, you can watch me destroy an NFL category in a what I won that match 4-0 against JPO in a lights out trivia match. I dictated the whole thing. I destroyed him, and I finally got my first win against JPO. I need two more wins to have a better overall record against him, and I look forward to doing that in lights out trivia. If you don't know what that is, check out lights out trivia. It's great, and you would watch me beat JPO 4-0. It was fun, a lot of fun. But we are here to talk about college football first because I feel like it. And what I feel like, we do. So we did have a pretty fun week last week. I'm not going to talk about every bowl game because there's a lot. I'm going to talk about a couple. One that I do want to talk about. The Michigan-Alabama game. Like I was talking earlier about how Alabama was just going to mop the floor with Michigan because what a letdown. Alabama being the first one out of the college football playoffs to play Michigan. But Michigan won. SEC is having a really down year this year. So way to go, Michigan. And then I do want to talk about the college football playoffs. We had Tuesday, Penn State taking on Boise State. Boise State being the Mountain West champion, getting the bye. Penn State beat SMU last week to get themselves there. Penn State did get the win 31-14 to move on to the semifinals. Wednesday, we had Texas taking on Arizona State. Very fun game. 2 overtimes. Texas getting the win 39-31. And then Ohio State taking on Oregon. Same day. This was a rematch. Oregon beat Ohio State by like 2 points in the regular season. It was at Autzen. But Ohio State just started out strong, started out fast, and was just too much for Oregon, getting the win 41-21. And then we did have Thursday, Notre Dame taking on Georgia. Notre Dame getting the win 23-10. So interesting side note, every team that had the bye lost. Your 4 teams in the college football semifinals were all teams that did not have a bye. So we have Notre Dame taking on Penn State, then Ohio State taking on Texas. A lot of people upset about the ranking system, saying there's no way Ohio State should have been ranked as low as they were, and Oregon should have beat every other team. I'm sorry. They looked at the overall or the regular season records, including the conference championships. It was one of those where if we had a 4-game playoff, Ohio State would have missed it. Even though Ohio State's is one of the best teams in college football right now, because they lost to Michigan. You lose a tough match like that, it's gonna hurt you. I have no issues with the rankings themselves. They're probably better than Texas and Penn State, but their record kind of hurt them, so that's why they were ranked so low. You don't have to listen to me though. I'm just here to talk sports on a trivia channel. So we do have again college football playoffs. Notre Dame taking on Penn State, Ohio State taking on Texas. This is happening Thursday the 9th, so next Thursday, and then next Friday. And then January 20th will be the conference or the national championship between those two winners. It's a super late championship game. Kind of weird having college football last this long because normally it's right after New Year's is whenever we get the national championship. So it's interesting to see it last as long as it is. But hey, we'll get used to it. And then we did have a pretty fun week in the NFL last week. Week 17, we had two Christmas games. The Chiefs beating the Steelers 29-10, the Ravens beating the Texans 31-2. We talked about those games last week. The games we did not talk about. First, we had Thursday night the Seahawks taking on the Bears in a barn burner. Seahawks getting the win 6-3. Um, Saturday we had a couple games. The Chargers beat the Patriots 40-7. Justin Herbert went off. Lad McConkey went off. If you had him starting in your fantasy lineup, congratulations. You probably won that game. The Rams beat the Cardinals 13-9. We'll talk about what that did for them. And then you had the Bengals beating the Broncos 30-24 in overtime. Very exciting game because the Bengals had to win. Broncos could have tied and they would have clinched that last playoff spot. So the AFC playoffs are still very much a fun race going on. And then we had some games on Sunday. First one, the Eagles destroyed the Cowboys 41-7. Great quarterback play by both Kenny Pickett and then Tanner McKee played a little bit too. A lot of dirty play by the Cowboys because they were just butthurt that they couldn't play good. The Bills beat the Jets 40-14. Aaron Rodgers still chasing, I believe it's his 500th career touchdown. Did not throw for a touchdown last week. And the Jags beat the Titans 20-13. The Buccaneers beat the Panthers 48-14. The Raiders beat the Saints 25-10. The Giants beat the Colts 45-33. We'll talk about that game a little bit more here in a second. The Dolphins beat the Browns 20-3. The Vikings beat the Packers 27-25. The Commanders beat the Falcons 30-24 in overtime. And then Monday night, the Lions beat the 49ers 40-34. So a lot of fun happening there as I talk about our overall standings. Because we do have a little change up happening. At the beginning or before this week, I was beating Tato 162-78 to 161-79. So I had a 1-game advantage over him. And we were different on 3 games. It's interesting because we both got the Colts wrong. But he had the Jaguars and the Vikings winning when I had them losing. And I had the Raiders winning when he had them losing. So, without further ado, Tato, I'm going to bring you in. You ready for this, Tato?
Yeah, buddy.
I had a 13-3 record last week. You had a 14-2 record last week, bringing my overall to 175-81 to your overall of 175-81. We are tied. You have come back from a horrible week 1, week 2, week 3 to tie me. This week, it's all the marbles this week. Whoever has the better record wins. But before we talk about our predictions for this upcoming week, we have some stuff to talk about. We have some breaking news, not really breaking news, playoff race implications. Recently eliminated from playoff contention, the Indianapolis Colts. You can't beat the Giants. The only time the Giants got a win at home, you don't deserve to be in the playoffs. They are eliminated. There's absolutely no chance for them to make it. And then in the NFC, the Seattle Seahawks. And it wasn't even because, well, they won, but because of a weird strength of schedule with the Rams having higher quality wins, the Rams clinched the division by some weird mathematics. The Seattle Seahawks have been eliminated from playoff contention. So in the AFC, we have 7 available spots. 6 of them have been claimed. Kansas City is the number 1 overall seed. Buffalo is the number 2 seed. And Houston is the 4 seed. Still up for grabs is the 3 seed and the AFC North. Right now, Baltimore has a hold of it, but they have not clinched it. And then we have Pittsburgh and the Chargers both clinching a playoff spot. Steelers still fighting for the division. Chargers have no chance for the division. And then the last spot, we have the Broncos, the Dolphins, and the Bengals fighting for that last spot. Right now, the Broncos win and they're in. But if they lose, if the Dolphins win, the Dolphins get in. But if both the Broncos and the Dolphins lose, the Bengals get in. And then on the NFC, you have all but one spot. So we have Detroit, currently the number one overall seed, currently the NFC North champions, but that is not decided yet. That division and that seed still up for grabs, but they have clinched a spot. The Eagles have clinched the number 2 seed. They have clinched the NFC East. The Rams have clinched the NFC West. And then you have the Vikings, Commanders, and Packers currently sitting at the wild card spots. The Vikings still have a chance to win the division, but we have the NFC South conference still up for grabs. The Buccaneers are currently in control, but the Falcons are right behind, still fighting to win that division and get that final playoff spot. We'll talk about playoff implications when we get to those games a little bit more. So, Tato, are you ready to predict the final week of the NFL season?
Yes, sir, I am.
All right. So, 2 games on Saturday. The first one we have the Browns are traveling to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. Ravens, with a win, they clinched the number 3 seed. They clinched the AFC North. But the question is how long do their starting players play? Because they have announced that their starters will play, at least for the first part. But who knows how long they'll actually play for. As of right now, the Ravens are 20-point favorites. That is a huge spread. I'm going to go ahead and go first on this one. I don't care. I don't think it matters how long their starters play. One series, 2 series, 1 play. The Ravens are going to win because Tato, do you know who the Browns starting quarterback is?
Deshaun Kaiser. I made that up.
Bailey Zappi.
Oh, it's Zappy Mania. Let's go.
So yeah, no matter who Baltimore's backup quarterback is, he's better than Bailey Zappi. I have the Ravens winning. Tato, what about you?
Yep. Ravens.
All right. Next game, we have the Bengals traveling to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. Steelers with the win and Baltimore loss clinched the division. They have a playoff spot regardless. If they win, they are the number 5 seed, which means they play the Texans in the first round of the playoffs. Bengals have to win and have to have help. The Broncos and the Dolphins both have to lose in order for them to get that playoff spot. As of right now, Bengals are 2.5-point favorites. Tato, who is your pick on this one?
Yep, give me Joe Cool to get it done to the best of his ability.
All right, Tato going with the Bengals. And with me, well, I do have to admit the Bengals have been on a great streak. The Steelers have been on a very bad streak. They've lost 3 straight, whereas the Bengals have won, 4 straight? But you know who, Tato, do you know who the Bengals' last loss was to?
I have a feeling you're going to tell me it's the Steelers.
It was against the Steelers. The Steelers traveling to Cincinnati, getting a win 44-38. And you know who the Steelers' last 3 losses were against?
I have a feeling you're not going to tell me the Bengals 3 times.
Not the Bengals 3 times. They lost to the Eagles, then they lost to the Ravens, and then they lost to the Chiefs. So they have played 3 very good teams. They are 5-2 at home. 1 loss being against the Chiefs that we just saw on Christmas Day. I think this is a very angry Pittsburgh team. And I think they get the win against the Bengals. I have the Steelers winning this one, eliminating the Bengals from playoff contention.
Let's go.
There we go. No every choice correct. There's still the possibility of a tie, but definitely differing picks. So we move on to Sunday. The first game we have the Giants traveling to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. No playoff implication here, but a lot of NFL draft implication. The Giants are in a good position to get the number one overall pick. Eagles are resting all of their starters, most of their starters, but the Eagles are still 2.5-point favorites. I'm going to go ahead and go first on this one. I don't think it matters who the Eagles starting quarterback is. We saw Kenny Pickett just torch the Dallas Cowboys defense. And then we saw Tanner McKee do the exact same thing and torch the Dallas Cowboys defense. I think the Eagles are just too hot right now. And even though they have their starters, they are still on fire. Little upset that Saquon's not going to get that record. But regardless, it's against the Giants. And I don't see how a bad Giants team can muster up a win. I have the Eagles winning. Tato, what about you?
Yeah, I got the Eagles as well.
All right. Possibly the most difficult game to predict. The Texans are traveling to Tennessee to take on the Titans. Again, no playoff implication, but possibly draft implication in this game. Titans are 1.5-point favorites. Texans have announced they are sitting a good portion of their starters. Tato, I'm going to give it to you. Who wins this one?
I ultimately fell with the Houston Texans getting the victory here. I still think it'll be enough. I don't know exactly what the plans are with the starters. That doesn't seem to be clear. So we'll see exactly how that shakes out.
Yeah, I mean it hasn't been announced that they're sitting all their starters. But D'Amico Ryans has said that he's balancing the exact quote I have is he's balancing the need of the Texans to keep the team healthy. So, and especially with how bad they've been playing as of late, it is sounding like he's going to sit him. But again, Will Levis,
Yep.
Mason Rudolph, Tony Pollard is nursing a knee injury, so probably not going to be a huge playmaker in this game. Tajay Spears, interesting running back, but not nowhere near a winning running back. I still have the Texans getting the win. It's going to be ugly, regardless of who plays, but I do think the Texans get the win as well. All right, next we have the Panthers traveling to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. Falcons are 7.5-point favorites. The Falcons need to win, and they need the Buccaneers to lose to clinch the division. I'm going to go first on this one, Tato. I was ready to go with the Panthers until I saw that Chuba Hubbard is out for the rest of the year with a knee injury. And the second I saw that he was not playing and that he is on IR, I typed the Falcons because it might be close, but I do think the Falcons do just enough to get the win against a pretty bad Panthers team, but a pretty resilient Panthers team. So I think their resiliency keeps it close, but I think the Falcons playmakers do just enough to get the win. Tato, what are your thoughts on this one?
I also have the Falcons getting it done. Fuck the Panthers. I should have never picked them. Except the games they won. Then I should have picked them.
All four of them.
Yeah.
Next, we have the other game that we're talking about. The Saints are traveling to Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers. Buccaneers are 14-point favorites. Mike Evans needs like 80 something yards to hit a nice little bonus. He's almost at 1,000 yards. He's done it every single year of his career. Does he hit that mark? And
Yeah.
Does Baker Mayfield keep playing at this MVP caliber? And do the Saints just pick a random fan out of the stands to play quarterback? Because he's probably gonna be better than Spencer Rattler. Tato, I pretty much spoiled my pick on this one, but you go ahead and tell me what your pick is.
Yeah, I'll take the Buccaneers here.
Yeah, no, the Saints had a very good start to the season. Had that horrible losing streak. Had some nice little thunder happen kind of in the middle of the season, but injuries have bitten them hard. They stand no chance, especially against a Buccaneers team that has something to fight for. Um, if this was Buccaneers have clinched, nobody has any stats that they're trying to chase, and they're just going to sit their starters. Maybe it'd be a fun game, but no, this is a Buccaneers team that has red in their eyes, and they're ready to destroy the Saints, and they're going to destroy the Saints. I have the Buccaneers winning as well. Next, we have the Bills are traveling to New England to take on the Patriots. Very similar thought. No playoff implications. The Bills have clinched the number 2 seed, but the Patriots have some draft implications. Bills have announced that they are resting most of their starters in this game, but the Bills are still 3-point favorites. I'm going to go ahead and go first on this one. I think it'll be very similar to, I believe it was the Jets, or was it was the first Patriots game where the Patriots kind of scared the Bills a little bit because they started out really strong, had a nice little lead going, and then the Bills just kind of worked their way back. I think this game's gonna be very similar to that, but I do still have the Bills getting the win. Tato, what about you?
Yeah, I also still have the Bills getting it done here. I think things that can shit on the Bears draft pick will probably happen. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Next, we have the Jaguars traveling to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. Neither of these teams have any playoff implications. The Jags have a decent spot for the draft. Colts are, regardless of what's happening, still kind of in the middle. But Colts are 4-point favorites. Tato, what is your pick on this one?
I have the Colts getting it done. In the same in that fuck the Bears motif.
All right.
Yeah.
It's going to be another backup quarterback matchup as Mac Jones takes on Joe Flacco because Anthony Richardson is going to be out for this game as well. And it kind of goes to, what running back do I trust more, Jonathan Taylor or Tank Bigsby? And if you have to ask yourself that question, you need to rethink football because Jonathan Taylor has gone off the last 2 weeks. He's probably going to go off again this week. I have the Colts winning as well. Next, we have the Commanders traveling to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Commanders have clinched a spot, but they're fighting for the number 6 seed. I think if they win, they clinch the 6 seed, where they will take on the Rams in the playoffs. If they lose, there's a possibility they get the 7 seed, which means they play the Eagles in the playoffs. And while they did just beat the Eagles, I don't think they want to play the Eagles. This is also a nice Dan Quinn revenge game as he's going against his former team that he was the defensive coordinator for. Commanders are currently 6.5-point favorites. I think I go first on this one. Or did I yeah, I go first because you went first on the last one.
Okay.
I have the Commanders winning again over the Cowboys. It's not going to be as bad of a loss for the Cowboys as last week, but it's going to be a pretty bad loss. Tato, what's your pick on this one?
Yep, I've also got the Commanders getting it done.
All right, then we have the Bears taking on the Packers. Packers again fighting for that 6th seed. They have to, if they win and the Commanders lose, I believe they get the number 5 seed to where they play the Rams. If they lose, or no, they're going for the 6th seed. If they win and get the 6th seed, they play the Rams. If they lose, they get the 7th seed and play the Eagles. Right now, they're 10.5-point favorites. Tato, what's your pick on this one?
I don't want to say it again.
Okay. I will not make you utter the words Green Bay Packers. You're welcome. I'll utter it though. Green Bay Packers. Next, we have the Seahawks traveling to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. Seahawks are 6.5-point favorites as the Rams are likely to rest most of their starters. Rams have clinched the division. Seahawks have nothing to fight for except some bonuses. I know Gino needs like 180 yards for a nice bonus. I don't know about any of the receivers if they have anything. But because the Seahawks kind of has something to fight for, I'm going to go first. And I'm going to pick the Seahawks to win. Tato, what about you?
Yeah, Seahawks get the win, and Jay doesn't shut the fuck up about it all offseason.
Facts.
Love you, brother.
All right. Then we have the Dolphins are traveling to New York to take on the Jets. Aaron Rodgers is still fighting for career touchdown number 500. Dolphins are fighting for a playoff spot. Again, they have to win, and the Broncos have to lose for them to clinch that. Dolphins are 1-point favorites. It is good to note Tua Tagovailoa is doubtful for this game. So odds are, who's their backup? Tyler Huntley. That's right. Odds are Tyler Huntley will be making the start and playing for the Dolphins. Tato, what's your pick on this one?
Just gonna give that a quick goog. Now,
All about Tua not playing?
Yeah. Now, yeah. Fucking cool.
You read that? No.
Yeah. No, I can't. That's fine. Fucking I'm gonna stick with the Dolphins anyway. I didn't know that, but I'm gonna ride it. I'm gonna ride what I wrote down.
All right. I didn't know it till just right now, too. But I do think regardless, Tyler Huntley did get the Ravens to keep a playoff spot like 3 years ago. He did decent in a couple games this year, mainly last week against the Browns. And so I do think that they do just enough to beat Old Man Rodgers, possibly keep him out of the end zone and keep him away from career touchdown 500. So he's like, man, I got to play next year and go all of next year without throwing a touchdown. That'd be hilarious. I have the Dolphins winning also. All right, next we have the Kansas City Chiefs traveling to Denver to take on the Broncos. Again, Broncos win, and they're in the playoffs. Chiefs have already clinched the number 1 seed. Chiefs are resting most of their starters, so Carson Wentz is making the start at quarterback. Broncos are 10.5-point favorites. I'm going to go ahead and go first on this one. So most of y'all might remember my huge graph I had going where I plotted out every single team and what their record would be. And this was the game that I had the Broncos winning, kicking the Chiefs out of the playoffs. making them lose not only their division, missing out on a playoff spot. And boy, was I wrong on that. But you know what I'm not wrong on? Broncos are getting the win Sunday, clinching that last playoff spot. Yeah, Broncos win. I called it many months ago. Tato, what's your pick on this one?
Now, I believe the one constant I have stuck to the whole season, I've picked the Chiefs every single week. I picked the Panthers to win one week. I deviated from that plan. I am going to pick the Denver Broncos to win this game. This just has so much of the old Colts Peyton teams that just gave up on those last two games because they could.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I was about to type
Broncos need the W. Yeah.
I was about to type Chiefs in that little square for you when you started talking. And I'm like, wait, he's gonna pull something. And sure enough, he did.
He did.
All right. Next we have the Chargers traveling to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. Chargers are fighting for the number 5 seed in the playoffs. Right now, the Steelers hold it, but if the Steelers lose to the Bengals and the Chargers win, they get it, which means they play the Texans in the playoffs. If they lose or if the Steelers win, they are the 6th seed, which means they play the Ravens in the playoffs, and we get a Harbaugh number 2. Interesting thing about this one is they'll mostly know their fate before the game starts because the Steelers play on Saturday. And I do think that that's going to affect how they play this game because if they have no chance, they're probably going to rest their starters. And we're not going to have any other thought about it. But because I cannot predict that, what I can predict is regardless of what happens, I think the Chargers still get the win.
I will echo you on that one. I have the Chargers getting it done. Those Harbaughs, man, they've done me well this season.
They have. All right. And Tato, I'm going to let you go first on this one because I stole your thunder on that last one. The 49ers are traveling to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. Again, no playoff implications, really no draft implications because these teams are both kind of middle of the road as far as their overall records go. But playing for pride. Cardinals are 4.5-point favorites. I believe Niners have named Josh Dobbs starting quarterback against the Cardinals. So nice little, yeah, nice little side note there. Taylor, what's your pick on this one?
Yeah, it just feels like the Niners collapse completes here. I'll take the Cardinals for the W.
Ooh, this is interesting. I have the 49ers getting the win. I was ready to give it to the Cardinals, and then I looked and saw that James Conner is out for the year and will not be running for them. And I do think that 49ers defense they gave the Lions offense a lot of trouble Monday night. I think Kyler Murray stands no chance. Even if Dre Greenlaw is not playing, I like that defense a little bit more against little Kyler Murray. I have the 49ers getting the win. Interesting little side note there. Next we have the Sunday night game, the one for all the marbles, Minnesota versus Detroit. This is in Detroit.
As seen on Lights Out Trivia.
Yeah. This is the Papa versus JPO, 2 powerhouses. You know there's going to be a lot of points. You know it's going to be a great fun match. Winner wins the division. Winner is the number 1 overall seed in the NFC. Winner gets home field advantage for the playoffs. Loser gets the number 5 seed. Loser takes on the NFC South division winner, which could be the Buccaneers, which could be scary. Lions are 2.5-point favorites. I'm gonna go first on this one. I don't know how to pick this game because these are two very interesting teams. I'm just going to go with who the better quarterback is and who the better head coach is. And the Lions have the advantage on both of those. I have the Lions winning. Tato, what about you?
I've been saying the vast majority of the season, I think the Lions are the best team in football. They've had their struggles lately, whereas Vikings have been pretty hot lately, past 3 weeks. I am still going to take the Lions to get it done here. I think they've proven they're the best team in the NFC North, and I do think MCDC figures out a way to get it done here.
All right, so that is our Week 18 NFL predictions. We are differing on 2, which means we could still tie. One of us could get both of those right. We could both split and tie. It'd be so crazy if that happened. But I'm all for it. It'd be great if that happened. It'd be great if you win. It'd be great if I win. It's just, Tato, it's been a fun regular season.
Coming into it, Ty, Hollywood script style. Couldn't write it better.
Because we still have the playoffs and then how we did on all the divisions. So there's a lot more to add to this record thing that I haven't decided what we'll do yet, but we're going to do something. Yeah. But no, it's been a pleasure this whole regular season with you. And I can't wait to see how it ends. And I can't wait for next year. Can it be 2025 NFL football season yet? No, not yet. I gotta wait.
I'm coming back to fantasy, man.
Yeah. So I have been telling a couple people. I did 5 leagues this year. 4 of those leagues made it to the championship. I won 3 of those championships. And the only one I didn't win is because it's a 2-week championship. And so this week is the second week to help decide how the season goes. And so I could very well go 4 for 4, win all those championships. I doubt it. I might have to dig some dig in the waiver wires to get a complete team going, but we'll see. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Put it down in the comments. Final score, what your predictions are going to be for the Lions-Vikings game. If you guess it right, I'll give you something. I don't know what it is yet. Might be a nice, crisp high five. Let's go with that. That's what you're going to get. Nice, crisp high five. Definitely go follow Tato at Lights Out Trivia. Very fun match that just happened between me and JPO. 2 powerhouses of Lights Out Trivia. Definitely a high-scoring game. And just make smart choices. Be safe. Be nice to people. Or don't. I really don't care. Not your dad. But I could be your papa.